we have a lot to get to here. I mean, from what we saw in the Buffalo Bills versus Kansas City Chiefs game, which I know a lot of you guys wanted to see my reaction. Unfortunately, I got a little sick. I couldn't have given you that, so I couldn't do my instant reaction like I typically do. I want to get to the point where I'm doing live streams during the game, but I still need to decorate my office and get myself a TV. The moment I get a TV in here, trust me, we will do live streams. But in this instance, I'm actually really happy I waited to do this reaction because there's two parts of this video we need to discuss. One is a recurring theme, a recurring thorn in the side of every Kansas City Chiefs fan and NFL fan. That's Jackson Mahomes and Brittany Lynn. And the other is obviously the way the Buffalo Bills lost, the overtime rules, whether the NFL needs to make a change. Make sure you subscribe and turn on our notifications for a chance to win $500. Also giving away $500 to any of our followers on Instagram, trying to make that push towards 69K followers on IG. Now that we get all that out of the way, break. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Guys, all 4 games of this past weekend could have legitimately been championship games. I mean, you look at the Green Bay Packers versus the San Francisco 49ers. That was the NFC Championship 2 years ago. You look at the LA Rams versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, another game that could have easily been the NFC Championship this year. And then, of course, there was the rematch of last year's AFC Championship with the Kansas City Chiefs going up against the Buffalo Bills. And that game was by far the most captivating game out of all of them. I mean, the statistics of this game absolutely blew all of our minds away. There was just so much freaking offense between two quarterbacks that literally looked like football robots. I honestly think that the era of quarterback play that we currently are receiving is honestly probably one of the best eras we've seen. I honestly am infatuated with the level of quarterback play that we are seeing in the modern NFL. I mean, the throws and the athleticism of Josh Allen would make any NFL fan's jaw drop. And then you have Patrick Mahomes, who literally came into the NFL and during his first year as a starter was able to win MVP, and throughout all 4 years as a starting QB for the Kansas City Chiefs was able to take his team to the AFC Championship. Now, obviously, if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, you're not feeling so great about the way the AFC divisional game between the Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills went down. After all, the Buffalo Bills were in a situation to win the game after going up by 3 points with 13 seconds to go in regulation. Now, the current debate is whether or not the NFL should change its overtime rules. And honestly, I am all for the NFL changing its overtime rules, not because I don't think that Josh Allen had a fair chance to win the game, because I don't think he lost because of himself. I don't think he lost because he made the wrong call during a coin toss, which technically he did, but how the hell was he supposed to mitigate that problem from happening again? I think the reason why the Bills lost wasn't even necessarily because of their defense, because I honestly don't fault them for breaking down towards the end of the game. When you're going up against the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and how fast that offense is, you're freaking tired at that point, man, especially considering the fact how quickly Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs would score and how quickly the Buffalo Bills would score. Both defenses were probably absolutely exhausted at that point. And saying, hey, go out and stop the Kansas City Chiefs here with 13 seconds left to go may have been a bit of an ask. And I know as an NFL fan, you might be rolling your eyes at this take, but I'm being honest. Realistically speaking, any defense would be exhausted in that situation. The only person I'm pointing the blame finger at for the Buffalo Bills losing the game is Sean McDermott. I believe a squib kick would have been all the difference for the Buffalo Bills. I believe if you gave the football to the Kansas City Chiefs with 9 seconds remaining in the game after a squib kick, as opposed to kicking the ball all the way to the end zone and giving them 13 seconds to tie up the game, it would have made all the difference. And I think that's the only thing the Buffalo Bills could have done to win the game. And it was a huge goof by Sean McDermott. There's nothing else Josh Allen could have done. I don't think there's anything else the Buffalo Bills defense could have done. And that's honest to God, just me being realistic as a sports fan. You have to give credit to the Kansas City Chiefs offense because it's the Kansas City freaking Chiefs offense, man. They've gone to 4 straight AFC championships for a reason. To summarize, I believe that the overtime rules should be changed just from an entertainment perspective. I would love to see Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes going back and forth against each other because I think it's a lot of fun. I don't see why the NFL wouldn't do that. You could extend games, generate more ad revenue, and we all know how money hungry the NFL could be. But on the flip side, I do believe the Buffalo Bills deserve to have lost that game. Not necessarily because of their defense, although their defense had a part to do with it, not because of Josh Allen, but because of Sean McDermott. Now, an unfortunate symptom of the Kansas City Chiefs winning is now we're gonna have to deal with these two. Yeah, so for those of you guys that didn't know, Patrick Mahomes has a brother named Jackson Mahomes, who is pretty freaking tall, looks fairly athletic, but decided to spend his life siphoning clout off of his older brother, which is very, very irritating. And it's so irritating that it's causing most fans to root against the Kansas City Chiefs going up against the Cincinnati Bengals next week.
You thunder against me?
Now, I want you to pay attention to that statement because that's a pretty big freaking deal. We're talking about a player that could easily be the face of the NFL for the next 10 years or so, and literally he is alienating fans not because of anything he does, because Patrick Mahomes is literally perfect on the field and off the field, but because his family members are tarnishing his reputation. So you might be wondering, okay, Mike, how bad could it be? What did Jackson Mahomes and Brittany Matthews do? For those of you guys that don't know, over the past year, starting out with Jackson Mahomes dumping water on Baltimore Ravens fans, all the way to Brittany Matthews literally telling a fellow Kansas City Chiefs fan to shut up because the Chiefs fan said that, hey, could you please relax? You're kind of embarrassing us here, after they lost to the Buffalo Bills earlier in the season, to Jackson Mahomes dancing on Sean Taylor's memorial, to the most recent spat where Jackson Mahomes got a bar to literally write up a whole paragraph on his entitlement. We now have a latest entry in the saga. And honestly, this latest entry should just give you an idea of how disliked these two are, because the moment the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Buffalo Bills, Brittany Matthews decided, hey, you know what's a good idea? Let me spray a bunch of unsuspecting Kansas City Chiefs fans with champagne. No, I'm serious. She thought that was a good idea. Now look, how bad is it? It's not really that bad. It's just like hella cringy, dude. Like, she then tweeted out in all caps, "Never doubt us." Then you have Jackson Mahomes and her screaming like they're little girls. Jackson Mahomes obviously had to post this onto his TikTok page. This duo is so disliked that literally an Instagram influencer, Amanda Casey Vance, posted the perfect story to give you an idea of how universally disliked these two are, saying, "Talk your crap in my DMs, KC fans, but you have to deal with this for the next 15 years. Now I know what you might be thinking. Mike, I think you're being melodramatic. She was dousing the fans of Kansas City with champagne because they were all happy that the Kansas City Chiefs were moving forward. Well, bear in mind how freaking cold the game in Kansas City was. It's literally 20 degrees in Kansas City during the winter time, and you could literally see it visibly throughout the entire game how freaking cold it was. And Brittany Matthews and Jackson Mahomes, from their nice and heated suite, decided to douse the fans of Kansas City with ice cold champagne. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm making too much of this. Maybe I'm really stretching it at this point because I think I'm a little bit more sensitive to anything that these two do. They just seem so out of touch with the rest of society, and this is just a clear indication of that. And it bothers me as, one, a Patrick Mahomes fan, but two, as a NFL fan. It's just the sense of entitlement that Jackson and Brittany have just because of Patrick's accomplishments. Literally a month ago, we made a video on Jackson being upset at an understaffed bar for not giving him proper service. But on top of that, Jackson Mahomes decides to play victim because everyone bullies him for his cringy, weird TikTok dances. Brittany Matthews complains about the hate that she gets, yet she's literally jawing with other fans of the Kansas City Chiefs. If there was some level of humility and at least a little bit of class, I feel like we'd feel a little bit differently about this, but I don't know, Kansas City fans. I don't know, Mahomes fans. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think, man. Maybe I'm being too hard on these two, but at the same time, it just feels like they are so out of touch with the rest of society. Felt like I had to say something. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.